YouTube. If you're watching this live right now and you want to go get it on YouTube, you can. So feel free. So welcome. In case you don't know me, I'm Bill Patton, and I am a co-founder. I'm executive director and co-founder of USA Tennis Coach. Let's see how that looks. Let's go like that. Yeah, that's okay. So thanks for watching. Hello, and thank you from Brazil for tuning in on Instagram there. Yes, it's me, Bill. All right. So I'm going to try to not get distracted by all the comments, but thank you for commenting. I look forward to seeing the comments. I will respond as I can. Today's talk is about taking a balanced and mindful approach to training. So we start with a quote. The blog will be out at 11:30 today, Pacific Standard Time. So that's in about, a little less than an hour. But here's the quote. I thought this was fascinating because this is one of my favorite people in tennis, okay? And I think when I tell you who it is, you might be a little bit surprised. I felt sad because every day I had to wake up early to practice before going to school. After school, I had to go back to tennis again. And then after tennis, I had homework and I didn't have time to play. Li Na said that. And I think the thing that amazes me about that is that I think Li Na is one of the most delightful personalities of any champion that there's been that I can remember. Really liked her. She was fun to watch. She was an intense competitor. She put her body through the ringer. She really did work hard to get to a very high level and was a bit of a late bloomer. But I think it's really fascinating that she wanted to play. Right? I mean, I can imagine, her in China training. Thank you, Match Tough. Thanks for stopping by. I can imagine her training and just, I guess she was sort of pushed into it to some degree. I mean, maybe she wanted to play tennis, but the way she was trained was not a happy experience for her. We keep coming back to this, but Isabella Lundberg, who's a transformational coach and really a dynamic person, says that the vast majority of athletes around the world are very dissatisfied with the condition of their training. So, and this is something that has been challenging for me. I mean, it's funny because I've always thought, kids need to play. They need to play the game. They need to have fun playing the game. They need to play the game differently, not just always playing sets, but playing some fun group games, some silly games, some games that teach strategy, something other than just only playing that same old practice set. All right, so then the next thing, there's going to be one of the shortest paragraphs that I've ever written in a blog. Okay, and the heading of the paragraph is "Get Real," and I'm not going to read you the paragraph. So you're going to have to read that in the blog if you want to see that. So the blog is usatenniscoach.wordpress.com. All right. So anyway, tennis is a fascinating sport because a large percentage of the people who come for lessons never play. And that's kind of ridiculous. I mean, just about every other sport has an aspect where, you have so many practice. I mean, even when you're 5 years old and playing soccer, you have probably 1 or 2 practices during the week, probably one practice, and then a game on the weekend. One practice, game on the weekend. And the game is bizarre. I mean, it's just crazy, So, and then as it goes up, it gets more intricate, and you get kids 8 years old who understand that they got to keep the ball out of the center of the field in soccer. So I think in tennis we're kind of catching up with that. in the ROGY effort, but unfortunately, I don't think there's the same amount of mindfulness about helping kids learn how to really play strategy. So it's good they're playing. They get to figure some things out on their own. They get to discover some stuff, but we can teach them some good things. All right. So here's another thing that's interesting from the blog today. There's a quiz question, and this is question number 39 from the USA Tennis Coach certification. And here's how it goes. Games, drills, and challenges are best when, A, a certain set of skills are required. B, a greater level of precision is required than in a match. C, the outcomes for winning or losing are greater and more exciting than a normal match. D, none of the above. E, all of the above. Okay, so you ready for the answer? The answer is E, all of the above. So when you play games, drills, and challenges, and we're trying to Sterling and I are trying to get people to call things that we do on court challenges rather than drills, because a challenge is something people like to do, and a drill, maybe not. It just, a drill sounds like work. A challenge sounds like something fun to do, something to overcome. So, yes, a certain set of skills are required to play the game. So that's when it's best. And the players have the skills that they need, or they'll be challenged to gain the skills quickly. A greater level of precision is required than in a match. So if the games that you're playing in practice are actually tougher than playing a match, then when you play a match, then that will comparatively seem easier. So that's another very good thing. And then the outcomes for winning or losing are greater or more exciting than a normal match. So in a normal match, if you win, you don't move to a more prestigious court. And when you lose, you don't move down to a less prestigious court farther away. So adding that element of up the river, down the river can be a lot of fun, because it creates this, this tension that's more difficult, because there's greater outcomes. And then when people go play a regular match, they're like, hey, at least it wasn't up the river, down the river. I didn't have to move down a notch. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to fight for equilibrium. I mean, everything's got to be balanced. Kids, basically, if we were going to balance out somebody's training, then probably they would have, for 1 hour of private lessons, they're going to have 2 or 3 hours of practice time, maybe on a ball machine or hitting with a partner, where they're working on a certain thing. Felipe from Colombia, hello. All right, so and then they need to have some. Then they need to have Facebook's reconnecting there, so I might pause for a second here. What if I do that? Okay, so Facebook might be done. I'm going to try to ignore that. But then you need kind of point play situations. Then you need practice matches where you're working on a certain thing, and then you need to actually be playing competitively, because otherwise, how are you going to grow in the knowledge? So we need all these things. So making drills into challenges is more important, because it's more engaging to the opponent's mind. One example of a great challenge that I put before my teams is, in the early going, we'll play one bounce doubles. So the serve can bounce, obviously, but then after the serve bounces, then each team can allow the ball to bounce only one more time. So it puts the onus on players to bounce the ball to the other team, and it also puts the onus on the other team to take the ball out of the air. And for intermediate players, that will be a challenge. They will struggle at first. Even even some advanced kids will struggle with one bounce doubles. All right. And then once they get a lot more comfortable with coming forward, taking balls out of the air and all that, you know, and the funny thing happens is it kicks in for them. They kick in, they realize, oh, I can move forward quickly and take that before it bounces. Then we don't use that up. Because the second bounce, that would lose the point, right? It's the second time the ball bounces during the point. And then certain kids, you know, they'll advance in their skills enough where they're ready for the additional challenge of no bounce double. So after the serve lands in, every ball must be taken out of the air or you lose the point. And that's really amazing to watch. And then doing that drill, I think alone helped me to develop some really strong doubles teams at the high school level that were just about unbeatable. I mean, it was really fun to win many doubles matches, and especially to sweep the doubles in a sectional championship. So for me, that was my big Super Bowl moment. Anyway, so when we balance things out, the benefits are that we're going to get less resistance from players because we're trying to make it fun. You know, the kids can ask questions, you know, about stuff. They can voice their opinions about whether something's too challenging or not, right? And ultimately, you know, we're there to instill some discipline, and we're there to make things harder than they would be for a match. And then they're going to come out and they're going to play well. Dad, sorry, Josh, I'm not your dad, but thanks for that. Anyway, so take a look at the blog, all right, and let's specialize our training. Let's make it fun. Let's make sure that we're not doing to what Lee Na's coaches did to her. Let's give our players something to look forward to that's going to help make them successful, and it's fun, it's challenging, and there's a balance to it all, so it supports their success on the court. All right. Thanks for watching on Instagram. And thanks for watching on